Hello YouTube, Ventures and Mel here. So I'm out in the garage and I'm getting my copper crystal growing project off the ground. Okay, got my power supply here. Got my receptacle and went down to the Goodwill looking for something glass that I could do this in, but that big giant monstrosity. So we'll see how that goes. Got my scrap copper. The plan is to, I think what I'm going to do is obviously have the copper sulfate solution here. Then I'm going to attach, just take some scrap wires and then solder them to the, I'm going to actually flatten this out and curl it up, hang it over the side. Then I'm going to just solder a wire to it and connect it to the power supply. And the same thing with the I always forget what the anode and cathode, which one goes where. But the other side is going to go on the other side, and just stick a wire in there and collect the copper crystals on the other wire. So that's the plan. All right. I will be back. Alright, you may have been asking yourself, why am I using such a big bowl? Okay, so most of the experiments I've seen, well, the idea was that I wanted to, since this is such a slow process, I wanted to do larger amounts of copper at the same time. So even though the reaction is happening slowly, there's a lot of it going on at the same time. That was a thought process behind having this much going at once. So I can up the power without making the crystals form too quickly. So that was the thought process behind that. All right. So I'm actually just going to, instead of, going full blast and getting as much copper in there as I can, I'm going to get my levels right, because from everything I've read about this process, it's more of an art than a science. So I'm going to start with this piece of copper here as the anode, and then I'm just going to attach another plain wire as the cathode. But as I start to get the proportions right of amount of power, concentration of the copper nitrate solution and all that, I'm going to have more cathodes and more anodes going at one time, and then slowly adjust the power. I'm looking at the Plutonium Bunny's video he did on this, and he said that he had to adjust the power through the whole thing anyway, so that's how that's going to work. Alright, so I'm running into a little snag here. And this just goes back to my inexperience with soldering. So, so I'm trying to get a bead of solder to stick to what I'm using as the anode, so I could solder the wire to it. But I'm thinking because copper is such a good conductor of heat that it can't get one spot hot enough to melt the solder onto it. So I'm gonna have to figure out a workaround for that. So since I couldn't get the bead of copper, I'm just going to have to trust that this banana clip and alligator... I'm talking to the camera.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you weren't here for that. I was trying to solder a bead of copper onto that, but I don't know. Probably, I figured it was because the copper is... conducts heat so well, it wouldn't stay hot enough at any particular spot. Okay, that's that. I'm gonna plug the power supply in.
Well, were you trying to use this?
Yeah.
Because that's electronic solder. If you want to solder the copper like plumbing, you need plumbing solder. Like.
Well, no, I wanted to solder the wire onto it.
Oh. For pipe to pipe to sweat a joint, you use this stuff.
Right. It already has it on that, but this isn't hot enough to get that. So
Gotcha.
So I'm just going to use that that clip there and hope it holds.
There you go.
Okay.
I do have a bigger soldering gun.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
I'll see if this works. That's my roommate talking in the background.
We're heterosexual life partners, according to this.
According to my sister, yeah. Okay. Why won't you get in there? And as you can see at the bottom, there's still a little undissolved copper sulfate. So I'm just going with some of the videos said to get it so there's so no more will dilute in there. Go into solution, so I put a little more, so who cares? Whatever. All right, now for the moment of truth. All right, so power, is this up here? Power on. Okay, well, all right. Maybe plug the plug into the back of the, there we go. All right, all right. Everything's down. Okay, so let's start at that's 1.1 volts. Let's turn that down. Let's get a little headroom. Let's go. There we go. All right, let's drop it down. This is something I'm gonna have to look up. Is that a milliamp? Is that 1 milliamp? I believe that's 1 milliamp. Let's see. I don't see any bubbling happening. So I'm guessing that power is pretty damn low. I'll leave this like this is, and